Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Hello and welcome as it's Super Sunday yet again here on Apex Racing TV, back after a 3-week hiatus, no less. Kicking things off, as always, with the Formula 4 tonight. We head to Canada and the, well, underrated, I believe, Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, or Mosport as it's more known more commonly. I am Tim Cox, Kumo in the virtual production trailer, and Charles Michelle. He'll be joining me very, very shortly. But let's just have a little look across to the points, as it's been so long. Although we only covered one round before the Christmas and New Year break, just refresh our memories a little bit. Let's have a look at Spec 1 first of all, and it was Christian Kabanka taking the victory there. This from last season, so quite populated the mints, that's no problem, but it's handy to refresh our memory anyway, because it's almost pretty much like the beginning of the season yet again. Jason Green in second and Overstreet third. I mean, what a championship it was last season. In Spec 1, aside of Kabanka pretty much just running away with things. Across into Spec 2, well, this was fiercely full, all the way right to the very end pretty much, but Benjamin Harris just opening up that gap when he needs to, having led pretty much the entirety of the season. And Jeff Saunders in second, and Paul Stevens picking up that third place. Masters, however, well, I tell you what, it was the year of the Masters. Marnie finishing top of the pile after picking up this, a couple of third places overall. Gassius in second. Murakami back onto the podium. There's some of the Formula Fords. Normally you see him in the podium many years, won Masters in the SRFs. However, way up into the top three for the Masters in Formula Fords. But not joining me now. If Santa Claus wore a Stetson, was from Alabama, he would be Charles Michelle.
Wow, I don't even know how to respond to that. Hey, Tim, welcome back. Happy New Year, everybody. Yeah, it's as you started this, you called this track underrated, and I have to agree. This is actually one of my favorite tracks in iRacing. It's not a new scan. I'm hoping that we'll get a new scan of this track eventually. But, you know, for a lot of drivers, here's the thing. This is a hard track to learn. It's a lot of elevation changes. It's a lot of off-camber corners. You have to be really, really smooth with the throttle application. You have to know if you can ride the curbs or not. It's a very difficult track to learn, but when you get it down, this is a really fun track, and you can actually do well at this track. If you can avoid, obviously, there are going to be places that we're going to have to talk about today where inevitably cars will go off the track. But it's just a fun track to drive. It's a short track. It's a fairly narrow track in some areas, especially in the hazardous areas. But it's going to be a fun race. These drivers out here have been here before. They know how the car responds here. So I expect to see some really good racing.
And just on board a little bit there with Weekend Warriors' favourite Estonian, Eero Nom. Never seen him before in the Formula Fords. Picked up many, I believe 5 championships he's on for the SRFs. Hopefully we'll see him a little bit later on in the SRFs as well. It'd be great to have him back in those. But top of the pile, back to almost winning ways. But yeah, when we were aboard, just seeing him through Moss Corner there, and for me, that is the most trickiest part of the track. You come into it full speed, and you've got the car just getting light at the point where you're hardest on the brakes.
Absolutely, yeah, you're absolutely right. The Moss Corner is the trickiest corner because it's really two corners in one. It's the double right-hander. The elevation change, your building speed going down the hill, and then you go up on that rise and you hit the brakes right as the car is at its lightest because you're cresting over there. And the line is very tricky to get right. So there's a couple of lines through there. You can kind of go narrow or wide, but eventually you've got to make that turn as you see here. As you see him kind of float out, you have to catch the car a couple times, and he's off in the gravel. And that's Christian Kabeka, who is no slouch, obviously, being our current champion in S1. So you can see how treacherous that corner is.
You can indeed, can't you? It is definitely going to be an interesting one on the first lap. Cold tyres kicking in. As we've of course got qualifying just ongoing in the background. We've got 40 minutes of racing coming up for you. Pit stops will be involved too. Yogmani, top of the pile in terms of Masters drivers, is sharing provisionally the front row with Eero Nom. Spec 2, Chris Montgomery, 11th overall, and well, he's a bit ahead of David Payne, the Canadian, who's in 17th place. Got 4 Canadians in the pack tonight. John Toms, who's 16th, Payne, who was mentioned, in 17th at the moment. David Ferris in 26th, and David Scott in 29th. Clearly, something about being called David and Canadian tonight in terms of bringing these drivers out to the track.
Yeah, all the Davids in Canada are currently on the track. So yeah, it's I think this is one of those tracks. Normally we'll see a couple Spec 2 drivers up in the top 10 challenging for top 5s because obviously they're I guess less experienced, maybe not as highly rated, but you find a good track that you're comfortable with and you can really run some good pace. This is one of those tracks. It's not one that's conducive to less experienced drivers. So for Montgomery to be P12 is a really strong result. I don't expect to see Spec 2s challenging for a win here, but maybe get to the top 10. There's mistakes that are going to be made obviously during the course of the race, especially right here. We're looking at turn 2. We're talking about the first lap with cold tires. To get to Moss Corner, you've got to get through turns 1, 2, 3, and 4 first. Which is no small feat, especially with the field bunched up. So the start of this race is going to be very intriguing.
It is indeed, and talk about those treacherous turns on the lead up to it. Turn 2, it's a little bit easier now because if you do get my words on it, do run wide. The new off-track physics. I say new as Trenton Kramer having a big moment, and luckily not collected there by, I think that was David Scott just coming through. They do help you quite a bit because
they do.
iRacing of old, that was it. You had purchased yourself a one-way ticket to the barrier if you've run wide, and now you can save it. You can keep out of those barriers.
Yeah, you still have to be. I don't think these cars have analog brakes, obviously, so you still have to be. You have to do a lot of brake modulation in order to get the car slowed down without locking up, because then you're just skidding again. But yeah, it is absolutely savable off the track, as we saw with Kabeka earlier, and Moss got over in the gravel. That was also another one-way trip to the barrier. So now you can catch it there. You can catch it out of turn 2. If you handle your braking properly and can get the car turned, and you're still going to have to deal with curbs, and that's an issue with some cars here. Some curbs you can kind of catch and ride, and some just want to spit you out across the track. So that's the other focal point that you have when you're racing here.
Well, one of the things I'm looking forward to is this run here on the, what lap you seem to be on. Mario Andretti straight away, although it's not really too much of a straightaway, as Jeff Jakes was showcasing there. Down into the S's and then whites the final corner. It always brings epic final lap battles and even mid-race ones, to be fair. It's going to be a real hot spot for action. Checker flag out in qualifying. Aeronom already done with his, feeling comfortable with that pole position, Clay, but only by 900ths of a second over Jorg Marty second. Kevin Parrish, a new name. He's going to look like he's going to be starting from the second row in third place. Great to have another new name here to the series. Just trying to find someone who's really improving there. Just drivers just getting in their final laps. And I think we're looking like the standard weekend warriors fodder, whereby not a lot happens on their final laps. Everyone's pretty much done early doors.
Yeah, it's looks like everybody's got what they can get, and so we're just getting ready. We see Fernandez headed down the Andretti not straight, and has finished up his final lap here. And so it's just going to be, like I said, it's the first lap of this race is going to be pretty crucial. And there's some good battles here. I happened to do another league a couple of weeks ago that was running here, GT3s, and watched a Porta go airborne over those curbs and that little set of S's there at the end of that straight. So it was a very interesting ending to that race. So hopefully we won't have that issue today, and we'll have some really good, clean racing from front to back.
Hopefully we will. Hopefully we will indeed. So there's Jason's green. He's going to start 5th place, and just see the track temperature up there, and 84 degrees Fahrenheit. Not too bad indeed. High 20s, early 30s. That's what that translates to in terms of Celsius. I think more crucially, especially for this circuit, low wind speed, only 2 miles an hour. Gusting winds around here is not an enjoyable time whatsoever, at least in my experience.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think it's anywhere, especially race cars are aero dependent, so you change the wind direction going over the car is obviously going to have an effect on your driving ability. So yeah, we'll take calm winds. 84 Fahrenheit, lovely weather. Not realistic for Canada in the wintertime, but that's fine too.
There we go. So just transition across into the race session now. Be able to bring you up your grid very, very shortly. There we go. Aaron Nom claims the second pole position this season. Technically, we are already on round 4. I missed the Christmas break, and good to see they're all lining up on the start-finish straight, so we've got plenty of time to get everyone read out. Yogmani joins him on the front row, top of Masters. Row 2, Kevin Parrish, a newcomer to the series, joined by Simon Ball. Jason Green has Christian Kabanka, our reigning champion for company, on row 3, while Michael McConnell lines up alongside Chris Simpson. Chris Murakami and Antonio Raceback will all Masters row 5 and complete the top 10. Then into row 6 is Jeff Jakeson and top qualifier in Spec 2, Chris Montgomery. Row 7, that is Stevie Ray and Alan Degassis, another all Masters row, followed by another one, Brad Cathcart. Good morning to you, sir, as always, getting up at the crack of Sparrows. Come and race here in the Weekend Warriors. He starts next to John Toms, row 8. That's David Payne, one of the many Canadian Davids in the field. He's next to Michael Nelson. The top 20 in row 10 being Gary Walbolt and Jeff Cantor. Jim Brewster probably going to be a bit disappointed to start 21st today, next to Trenton Kramer on row 11. While Benjamin Harris, another disappointment, reigning champion in Spec 2. He starts all the way down on row 12 with Paul Stevens, although it's only around about, 4th in class, apologies. Arthur Latorio and David Ferris share a row together, while Philip Fernandez and Luca Leone make up row 14. Row 15, your top 30 is David Scott and Matthew Gard, with drivers not setting times, Sander Verbruge and Tim Staino on row 16, and Ken Poulin has not taken to the grid. Not sure whether he's going to get away from the pits. We'll keep half an eye on that one for you, or whether we'll just elect not to change, not to start whatsoever. Hopefully he does. 33 car provisionally, 32 definitely confirmed. So head away behind the Porsche 911 safety car through Clayton, and well, here we go. I get the feeling it's going to be like we've just never been away.
Yeah, it will. It'll be just like we've been racing this entire time. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting end of this season. We've got 9 straight weeks of this, and 7 of them are what we would call double headers, where the Formula Fords and the SRFs are at the same track. So you're going to get a double header of this today, and this will just carry on with the season, and it's going to be some great track selections. It's going to be fun.
Well, next week we head, well, literally across the globe to Oran Park. That's going to be a fascinating one to always is in the SRFs. I'm trying to remember if we've been there in the Formula Fords. I think we've got to have done, surely. I'm pretty sure we have, haven't we?
I don't remember it, but but I'm old, so I don't remember a lot of things. So
well, you said it yourself. But luckily, because we've not had too many seasons, I can have a quick look through. So, did we go there last season? No, we didn't. And season 4? No. So it's looking like no, we've never been there before. So there we go.
There we go.
That'll be interesting. We'll see how these guys get on around there. But not too long left. As we mentioned, 40 minutes of racing coming up. Drivers limited on fuel, so they will take to the pit window. Anywhere realistically from the 13-minute mark all the way up to about the 29th, 33rd minute mark. When will they pit? We'll find out as Aero non-controls pace. Safety car in, and let's get ready to go racing in the Formula Ford Weekend Warriors as we are green from Mosport, and already trying to make it free wide down into turn 1. Marnie on the outside, non-controlling things from the front, but he's got that twin-pronged attack from behind. Parrish and Ball involved too, as well as Marnie. We're going to get anyone run wide. There's a few people getting close to it on the exit out of Quebec, but nothing like what we've seen in the past. Well, there you go. There's the commentator.
Yeah. Yeah, you had to be one of them get through there in turn 2 that just have to go run wide. But obviously, you saw, was able to save the car and then get back on track with no damage.
Jockey for position, Simpson, and I think it was Antonio Race. Just involved with one another there, and Race getting the move done. A Race already at 3 spots. Really throwing some shapes in these early stages out on track. His highest position climber, along with Sander Verbruge, Trenton Kramer, and Paul Stevens, all at 3 spots so far. Though to say that's Bruges just dropping one place to Luca Leone. But just the 2 right now. Wallbot had a shoddy start, down 6 places. Meanwhile, change for the league. Young Marnie. Oh, is he going to pull this one through, Charles? I don't think he will. He may well do.
Yeah, but he's going to lose it. Unfortunately, he's outside in the last corner. So, yeah, it's going to be Nom. He's going to take that spot back over. I mean, he's sticking out there. He's trying hard to make that outside line work. And now it's just a drag race down to the start-finish, or to turn 1. As we see somebody creeping on the inside there. That's Parrish. That was a great move. He just basically, pretty sure Nom was just kind of watching his left side for Monty. And Parrish was able to sneak around on the inside of turn 1, take that really, really tight inside line over the curb, and at least make Nom go defensive. Oh no, trash in the background. Canter.
Stevens involved in that one. I think Fernandez too. There's Jim Brewster. There's even more 5 cars at least. Counter, Ferris, Brewster, Wallball, all caught up in that one. Let's take a little look how it all panned out. Well, it's already kicked off there. But there are people running wide as well. So 6 cars in total, all involved in that symphony of chaos there down at Clayton. There we go. This will show us. Stevens just losing the rear.
Yeah, that was interesting. We was looking at that outside car there, thinking that he was going to lose it and get off in the grass, but No, it was the inside car that just lost it on his own, and it's very difficult. That's one of those corners, turn two. Even if you're, even if you're,
Charles, hold on,
yep,
that's Eric Nom
that's
off the
Nom.
track.
That's Nom off. Wow, and that's a really interesting place to lose the car as well. And this is the end of the straightaway going through the S's. Let's see what we get here.
So it's alongside Marnie, on the outside, not squeezed too much. He's just going to run it in too deep. And there you go, yeah.
That's it. That was it. Yeah, just too much speed through there. It was the same thing that happened with the inside car Stevens in turn two. Was he had the right line? He was just taking too much speed and lost the rear of the car.
That's demoted him all the way down to 9th. It's now he's changed the lead. It's about Marnie out in front. He's got around about 2 tenths over Parrish. Kabanka up into third. Then it's Ball Green, Race, who's second in Masters. Simpson, Nom, McConnell, Murakami third in Masters, running out that top 10 as for your Spec 2. Too nicely there by Samuli. Chris Montgomery leads that one, still in 12th where he started, but a healthy margin. David Payne second in class on his debut, 18th overall, with Trenton Kramer hot on his heels as well. So that rest of that podium in Spec 2 looking really, really fiercely competitive right now. Meanwhile, Kabanka trying to snatch that lead away from Marnie.
Yeah, they're still battling hard up front. You see Kabanka trying to work that alternate line that Monty had earlier.
But not as successful as Marnie was. Whoa, spinner, who's that? That's Jeff Jacobson. Oh, I tell you what, it seems to be catching a few people out today, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, and that's in the S's. You know, if you're racing side by side, I've seen a lot of cars spinning there. Might have just been some wheel-to-wheel contact. We'll get a replay here from Samuli. Yep, side by side, coming into the S's. Nice inside line, switching over. Yeah, and it was just I think he maybe just took it in a little deeper than he probably needed to, because there was a car already there.
I was reading in the in-game chats, Chris Simpson put, my setup still sucks, lol. It's just a rally car now. But having said that, he's not doing too badly. He's 7th overall at the moment.
Yeah, he's making it work. So yeah, I think that what that tells me is he's just really got a loose setup, and he's just sideways through every corner. But he's handling it well, and he's obviously, started 7th, or he's in 7th place. He's up a position, so he's doing a good job with it.
The only trouble thing is, but all the temps are out. I'll have no tyres left by the finish, so that's going to be an interesting one to see how he controls that one. Meanwhile, Ball, is he going to squeeze his way through into second? Yes, he is. And Marnie now under fierce attack, because Parrish looking to inflict misery on him and take third away from him in the spaces of many corners. They stream across the start-finish line. He's not going to get it done. Couldn't quite open up the corner enough to slingshot his way past out of whites. Well, we're out onto lap 5, and ding ding, it's round 5 down into Clayton. This time Kabanka on the outside, Ball going to squeeze his way through, and now he's taken the lead.
Wow, just some fierce battles up front. We see Parrish on the inside of Monty there. Took advantage of Monty kind of going wide into turn 3. Not quite done yet, but he's definitely looking like he's got a chance. Nope, he's going to be on the outside here. So he's going to give that spot back to Monty, so he'll be looking for the other next opportunity, which is probably down the straightaway. I think this is where we're getting a lot of passing done, is down the end of this long straight as the arrow builds up and they can get that good toe. Then they can make some moves going into the S's.
Well, here comes Kabanka looking to take the lead back from Ball, who's only had it for around about half a lap so far. Out of the slipstream to drivers left of Ball as they drag it up their hill. More concerningly for Marnie, though, as much as he does have Parrish behind him, it's Antonio Race that's behind Parrish, who could really mix things up in terms of Masters. They're still there side by side, coming through the S's, and they're going to make it side by side through whites. Yes, they are. Now, who's got the better run? Surely it's going to be on the outside, which is what is Christian Kabanka holding that line. But Ball says, no, you don't get it that easy, and just about keeps his car in front. But here comes Kabanka. He's got the line, he's got the momentum on the outside, but it's not enough. A ball tucks his way into first, but Marnie not able to capitalise, and that's a surprising point for me.
Yeah, yeah, just a little wheel contact there between Monty and Parrish allows Race to move up into fourth place. So yeah, I was really just kind of watching as we were talking about this. You know, what this all this battling up front is keeping this pack tight. You got a 9-car pack in front that seemingly, you know, one mistake and you may have P9, you know, leading the race.
Well, yeah, and would that be Michael McConnell as things stand at the moment? In terms of positions gained, we always like to keep half an eye on that. Up 10 places, Sander for Bruges and Tim Stainer. Well, as they say that, for Bruges has a moment and drops a couple behind Staino, Leone and Leone. Meanwhile, well, guess what's happening up front again?
Yep.
These two just love holding hands through the corners, don't they?
I think they do. Yeah, it's just that, you know, you get that good run and you just want to keep your momentum. So it's like, okay, let me get back in front. I'll lead this lap till we get back to the back straight, and then we'll see if he can make another move on me.
Normally it's relatively calm up front, isn't it? You know, that standard sort of front group trying to break away, work together. Oh, big moment as he kept it out the wall. I'm not sure.
I think he kind of bumped it, but it, you know, it looked like that it was a scrape more than it was a hit. So maybe he hadn't damaged his car too much. He could keep in this fight.
There we go. Samuli on it with the replay straight away. Dead ball, keep it out of the wall. But it all looked relatively calm as he came through turn one. Oh, just touched my rear left. And yeah, a side slap onto the wall. High-fiving it.
Yep. Yeah, you know, you hit it right. Is that left rear tire just clipped the dirt, and it was enough to upset the balance of the car, and it turned him sideways. And that's what you have to watch out for, because there's several areas on the track that will do that. And you know, you think that I'm just going to spin, but the next thing you know, you're coming across the track and there's, you know, 25 cars behind you ready to just plow you.
I was about to say, Kabanka probably he's going to breathe the biggest sigh of relief. Will it be Kabanka, because he hadn't got ball, constantly trying to snatch first place away from him, or would it have been Ball himself that he didn't inflict more damage onto his car from that contact with the wall? But, well, I was saying that Marnie takes the lead from Kabanka as we head out onto lap 8. I don't think anyone's led for more than 2 laps.
I don't think so either, but you were talking about how dicey it's been up front. In that group of 9, there's a name we haven't mentioned yet, and his name is Jason Green in P6. And who's just kind of been riding around in P6, P5, P6 for the entire race. So you got to feel like he's doing his normal strategy, which is fuel saving, just trying to keep in this pack and save as much fuel as he can to get him to the pit stop.
It's always the danger man, isn't it? Someone you have to look out for, that 160 machine.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think we've talked to him enough, because he's done so well with his fuel strategies, that he's just really good at fuel saving, and he just rides around until that pit stop, and he's usually a couple seconds quicker than everybody else, and that ends up paying off for him with podiums and wins.
Well, we're at things yet again. It's Kabanka's turn to lead at the end of lap 8. To start into lap 9, surely for him. Kevin Parrish is moving up a slot there, bringing Antonio Race along for the ride. Oh, who's that? That's Aeronom darting into the pits very early on, but it's enough to get him home, though.
Yeah, I think the window's open. I think, so I think he can absolutely finish the race from here. So his strategy is obviously he's going to undercut and see if that helps him out.
Well, I mean, clearly with all the position changes, the side-by-sides through corner after corner, he's slowing the pace up and not electing to go early, because he can get himself in some fresh air, then he can just go in full attack and go faster than what our leaders are currently. Incidentally, Kabanka, the fastest lap of the race last time around at 1:26.6. So, it's going to be interesting to see how this one pans out for the Estonian, and whether can make that undercut, and it's a big old undercut work, as we've still got, three-quarters of this race still remaining pretty much, Charles. It's a
Yeah.
big call, but if anyone can do it, he can.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, obviously having his pedigree in the SRFs, I'm sure he's, if he's out here racing, he thinks he's going to be able to do well with it. So yeah, we'll see if all this clean air is going to pay him off, and we should see that probably in the next couple of laps as he gets his momentum built, and he can get some good hot laps in, and we'll see what his lap times look like.
Looking forward to it, definitely. Simon Ball into the pits. Driver, you mentioned that we're really struggling with his setup. In comes Stevie Ray as well on lap 10. Who else joining them? I think Brad Cathcart. Yeah, just can see him and the corner of the camera angle there. So Luca Leone having a bit of a moment through the exit. That's on the, and that's about halfway through. So it looks like he's lost it on entry, I'd say there.
Yeah.
Well, there's many a driver that have done so far today. Just maybe he's carrying a bit too much speed in there and leaves in the rear, I'm gonna guess.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. That's usually what happens through there. Yeah, so the only thing about Nom pitting on by himself early is normally we would say, our race organizer, series organizer, Stevie Ray, when he comes in, pit window's open. So Nom actually came in a lap before him. So, that always kind of, if you're familiar with this series, that always kind of makes you wonder if the guy made a bad strategy call or not. But, we'll find out in about 25 minutes time.
Yes, Parrish, the highest he's been so far, into second place. Can he lead? It looks like he is going to snatch that away from York Marnie to make it our 10th it's about fifth or different leaders so far in this race. He's going to hold on to that one as we head on to lap 11. Another new leader here from Mosport. But interesting, you see from that graphic at the top right of the track map, just how tightly compressed everyone is, all the way up until what, 8th place.
Yeah, they're just running a lot, just staying in line and battling, and every time they battle up front, it just lets those cars that are behind A can lift and coast a little bit, save a little fuel, and then B pack that group up a little bit tighter. Then another big group starting with P9 all the way down to about P13 or 14.
I'm just waiting for Nom's lap time to click in.
Mm-hmm.
There we go, a 1:26.74 last time around, which was the same lap time.
Is Kevin Parrish, the leader.
Yeah, who had a slipstream to help him do that as well.
Yeah.
Although Jason Green actually instantly, new fastest lap of the race, he's in that lead group, 1:26.55. So that's run just shy of 2/10 faster than Nom, but Green in that midfield compared to Nom, who's going it alone here at Mosport. So on course for it. Meanwhile, just in front of Green, Race getting ahead of Kabanga, who's now down to 4th place. Race up 7 spots into 3rd. And still, Yobani just couldn't, whatever he tries, cannot shake Antonio Race. I mean, his only option really is going to be just go hell for leather, get into 1st. He's done that. He can tick that one off. Can he hold on to it? And can he break away from Kevin Parrish? That's the next big question I feel we need to be asking. I'm not sure if he can.
I don't think he's going to be able to get away from these guys unless the only thing with if Parrish makes a mistake and gets a little loose and has to check up and kind of check that group up. I think that's the only way Monty gets away. These cars are just too evenly powered, too evenly matched. The drivers are doing a really good job, so they're just going to end up staying in line here. You'll probably see Parrish look once he gets down to the straightaway to look to make that move back to the front of the field. And and we talked about Green being kind of the master of the fuel strat. Monty is just the opposite. He's as hard as he can go from the start of the race to the end of the race, and he's happy to tell you that. so he's not saving. He's out there trying to run as hard as he can go, and I still don't think it's enough as we see Parrish working to the outside here as we get ready to go into the S's.
Guess who was 4.5 tenths faster than this group last time around, though, Charles?
It would be Mr. Aaron Nall.
It would be indeed. There's Trenton Kramer just involved in a bit of battle royale with Degassis, who was on driver's right as Kramer swoops down. He's leading Spec 2 right now, so he's really, he's had a cracking time, hasn't he? Because Montgomery has remained pretty stagnant throughout this race, holding around 13th place, whereas Kramer, a man on a mission right now, up 13 spots overall. Only just the one in class. He was really second in class, but well behind Montgomery. And, wow, that is a brilliant drive from Kramer so far.
Yeah, it really is. He's doing a fantastic job. He's kind of moved to the front of that second pack. So he's I guess the Pied Piper, if you want to call it that. So we're going to see if he's got the speed to pull away from them. My guess is it's probably going to be the same story with that group that is with this front group.
There is our leader, Parrish, just heading out of Moss corner. Obviously, those added because Officer Sterling Moss came to this circuit and maybe like what was going to be put in there, and well, had it changed to what it is now, and the name of the corner added to his name to boot as well. Well, as much as Parrish leading, I'm not sure whether he's going to, as we head on to the next lap as well. Antonio Race trying to squeeze his car in to make it free wide there. That would have been brave, and just getting out of it, deciding against it. But I mean, I can't say I blame him. You can throw a blanket practically over this top 7.
Yeah, it's, you know, you get that overspeed. It's like, okay, where can I go? Because I don't want to lift. I want to try and keep moving forward, but there was just no room there. And you had a look, but it's like, nah, it's probably not the best idea at this point in the race.
Just 1.7 seconds, Charles, covering that top 7.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it's just, you know, you get to these tracks like this, and you know, you see obviously how good these drivers are. This, like I said, this is not the easiest track in the world to get along with, but they're all doing a fantastic job, and they're running great pace, and the draft is obviously helping them, you know, keep that. The draft plus the battles is helping them keep them together.
Next big question: who's going to lead this onto lap 15? Parrish, Barney, Race, or even I don't. For me, although you get the good run from 4th place, it doesn't feel like it's quite enough to take the lead. So I think realistically, if they're like this after the pit stops, which is going to be debatable based on the pace that Norm is setting right now, then it could be realistically any of our top 3 who clinch victory if they're still like this on the final lap.
Yeah, it's just going to be, we've seen it, how you get a battle like this, and then the pit stop kind of ruins it all. You'll get a guy take a flyer, take a really short stop, and get out front and able to hold it, or you'll see mistakes on pit entry. We've seen that a few times with some of our drivers when they get that speeding penalty on pit entry that basically takes them out. It's a 40-second penalty, so they're basically done with the race at that point, or at least challenging for the win. So yeah, it's going to be, pit stops are going to be crucial, as they usually are for these races.
Well, the other point as well is if this lot come in all together at the same time, the big losers are going to be the guys at the back of the pack, because they're going to have to slow right down to pit limiter speeds a lot earlier than the guys at the front of the group will do. So, I mean, will they all come in together? I mean, surely you're going to want to come in with at least 1 or 2 people, because of making that slipstream work to your advantage, as it's been so crucial. Car at the distance there, that's Philip Fernandez. They're just coming up to lap, although I think they've got a little bit of time before they do so. But yeah, I mean, what do you do? Do you try and go a little bit earlier? I think they're all oblivious to what the pace that Norm is setting, because he's so far down in the field. And also, they're just so engrossed in this battle they're having, certainly between the top 2 spots. But then you've also got the other part that you spoke about rightly so earlier, Charles. So when you spoke about Jason Green, is McConnell, I think, you can throw into that group too. Race even. Who's fuel saving?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the other little component of that, and that's why Green's been so successful, because he's able to do it so well. So he always gets that couple extra seconds of time that he makes up on the pits. So it's going to be interesting. I know a lot of there's several of these guys I think that are in the Discord together and talking during the race, and then we've heard them discuss it, you know, in our post-race interviews. but I don't know. I don't know if they're necessarily teammates or not, and that's what you really would want here. Obviously, is you want to be working with a teammate and say, okay, we're going to come in on this lap and we're going to get our changes made or our fuel in, and then we'll go back out together. That way we have that little bit of help. But I don't necessarily know in these races if that occurs.
Harris there just locked in a bit of a battle right now with Jacobson. That's over 14th place. Harris third in class. He's up 9 spots overall, although did start third in class, so no improvement in terms of spec 2, but those points counting for your overall position. Chris Montgomery is one place ahead of him overall, although it's about just over 4 seconds. The gap between them is all that Simon Paul around. Oh, and he's had to wait quite a while, hasn't he, as he's dropped through the order.
Yeah, yes, you have to. But it's good though. I mean, it's good that he was cognizant of the traffic because that doesn't always happen. So when you see a guy that says, "Okay, I've got to give up some time here as I'm on the outside," yep, nice, back it up, get out of the racing line, wait for a clearing, and then go. That's good, smart racing on his part that he didn't bring anybody else into that accident.
Was Ball having an early stop as well to cure the damage where he slapped the wall. That's Montgomery into the pit side. Jeff Jacobson in there too as well. So there comes Nom, and again matches the pace of the lead. Well, the leader certainly, Kevin Parrish last time around. Relentless here from the Estonian, and surely, Charles, I mean, surely you've got to have done enough to, after everyone's pitted, for him to come out in the lead. And is it going to be comfortable though? I think that's maybe the bigger question we need to be asking ourselves.
Yeah. Obviously, you want to have at least a 1 second advantage over the rest of the group, so that way they're not just basically towing back up to your to the back of the car. I noticed I've been kind of watching him, and he had one lap as he was passing Tim Staino where it was just a little bit off the pace. He had to do a little bit of waiting before he was able to make that move around. But yeah, every other lap has been, front of the pack, lap pace, and fast laps, overall fast laps. So I think he's done a really good job. I don't know if it's enough, but I'm sure we'll find out here in about 5 or 6 minutes, as I think the rest of the group will be in.
I didn't even spot we were on 25 minutes as David Payne into the pits. Was our lead Canadian in the race, and I think he may well still be that as well after his pit stop. There he is, in the 73 machine, 15th overall. I mean, that 16th for Staino's just past him. That's where he's going to come out because Farouche, it's Ball, I think, a bit of time behind him. There's Cedric Kramer, leader in spec 2, up in the side, the top 10 as well. Absolutely flying. 12 positions overall for the American. And well, could he even make it 13? And lucky for some, because that is 9th place Alan Degassis just in front of him. And then Murakami well clear, who's some 9 seconds up the road from this group as things stand at the moment.
Yeah, I think Kramer, like I said, obviously he's done a fantastic job during the race. I think they actually caught Degassis. I think Degassis had a couple of seconds on this group, and they've managed to make that time up. And so now he's challenging to get another step inside the top 10.
Simpson saying fastest lap of the race last time around. A 1:26.497, just under 1:26.5 lap time. So, I think this is the calm before the storm, isn't it? We're just clicking down the minutes now until those pit stops happen within that lead group. This man you can see on the screen, Aero Nom, we can find out, has he done enough? Has the undercut worked? It's not really ever tended to work here in the Formula Fords, but I get the feeling with the lap times that he has been setting, which is largely, I mean, realistically, he's only been able to achieve that due to the amount of battling that's been going on over first place. If that hadn't have happened, I don't think this would have probably have been possible for him. I mean, we'll never know, but here we are. We might get to know.
I think you're right. I think if you look at it as, as these guys are swapping, the leader very rarely is setting the fastest lap. Even the guy that's taking the lead is very rarely setting the fastest lap. He's getting a really good final sector, but he's riding behind that other car for the first 2/3 of the lap. So yeah, with Nom being out there able to not really have to deal with a lot of traffic, just kind of run his own race. Yeah, he's basically been at the top of the charts every lap. Except for those couple that he's had to kind of navigate some slower traffic. So he's doing a great. I don't know. I will know soon. But I mean, if he's had it, he's done enough. He's done enough to at least be in the battle for that lead group. Now, whether he's going to be in front or not is we'll find out.
Wow, he's just the fastest lap in the race, Charles.
Yeah. As I'm sitting there talking, it's 26:44. So, which was about, I think, a tenth faster than the previous fast lap, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, 0.497 was the previous fastest lap for Chris Simpson, who set that one. So, yeah, a good half a tenth faster for Nom, and, well, with no one to help him do it, that's the scary stuff. But all change again up front, Parrish ahead of Marnie. But again, you can throw a blanket over that top group, nothing at all separating them. And well, we still wait. I mean, they're going to go really, really deep on that. We're on 29 minutes now. Here we go. Marnie, race all into the pits together. Our top two in Masters and our third and third place cars in that group. Murakami comes in with them. So top three in Masters all into the pits, and we get to find out who's going to come out on top. We'll get a good indication as Degassius and Kramer into the pits as well. Parrish, Kabanka, Green, Simpson and McConnell, of which McConnell set the fastest lap last time around of 1:26.42. We're not far from breaking that 1:26 freeze, are we? That's all. That could well happen on the last lap potentially. But where is Nom? So he's come out ahead of Murakami and Marnie, but Race has got a cracking stop.
There we go. Yeah, Race had a good stop. Check the timing and scoring here. 13.8. He was basically almost 3 seconds faster than Monty, and he was a second faster than Murakami. So it'll be interesting to see that now that we've got that kind of figured out. So now got Nom, who's already got by Race, as Race is trying to get back up to speed, is in P6. So now we're going to see how much Green has fuel saved as they come around for this next lap to see if that top group are all coming in together or if Green stays out for an extra lap.
I mean, for me, realistically, it's wow. Oh, Green carries on, Charles.
There you
go. You called it, and you were smack on.
Yeah, he's so good at that. I wish I could be as good as he is with being able to save that fuel like that, but he's done a great job, so he's able to go that extra lap. Now, obviously, he's coming in by himself the next lap, but his pit stop time is going to be, my guess, quite a bit shorter than the rest of the group.
Well, Jason Green, you need the in-lap of your life right now as Kabanka gets going. Where is that little group behind him? Nom, Race, and Marnie. And it looks like Kabanka's going to come out in front. Look at the bottom of your screen. There comes Nom coming through at full chat, but it's not enough as Kabanka leads this group. Then it's Nom, Race, Parrish, Marnie, Simpson, and McConnell is how they've all settled themselves out of the pits. Now it's just down to Jason Green. What has he got up his sleeve?
I'm just looking. It better be something special because Kabanka's stop was 12 dead.
Wow.
So I mean, if anybody's cut it close, it would be Christian Kabanka. I mean, he was basically at least a second and a half faster than everybody else on his stop.
There we go. Into the pits comes our leader, Jason Green. I mean, could it either be a second faster than Kabanka potentially? He literally needs a few drops of fuel, doesn't he, to get himself back home. As we've got under 8 minutes remaining. I mean, that's about as late as you could possibly push it. In the Formula Fords and the SRFs, as we see them around about an hour and a half time here on the channel. There is Kabanka. Green's still in his pit box though, but he's right down the end of the pit lane. He gets going again, but here comes Kabanka, what surely is going to be into the lead. Yes, it is. About a 14 born, so not even the quickest, Charles. But has Kabanka got enough fuel?
There's the next question, right? So we know Jason's usually really good with his fuel stops. He usually has it nailed where he's basically sputtering after the checkered flag going into turn 1. As we see Cathcart around and rejoining the track. So yeah, now it makes you wonder, did Green or did Kabanka put enough fuel in to make it to the end? Sitting here looking at the times, it's going to be, we got about 4 laps maybe when we get back to the line. So maybe it's going to be one of those where that last lap is going to be really close as far as times. So that's the next thing that we'll kind of look out for.
Well, 2.1 seconds is the gap between Kabanka and Green, who's in second. Well, for how much longer, though, as Aero Nom comes along to driver's left right now to try and claim second place away from Green. Well, it's down to 1.9, 1.8, so they've taken 4 attempts, in fact, out of Kabanka, just on the straight alone, who's then stuck behind. Oh, that's Parish and Marnie.
Oh, wow.
That's McConnell. Apologies, I saw the orange on the livery. I thought it must have been Marnie because they were together.
Yeah, it kind of looks like that's a side-by-side incident in the S's we'll see here as we're coming down. And that was Monty up there next to him, and he just lost it on his own. And McConnell just went wide to try and avoid it, and he just came across the track and just nowhere for him to go. That's tough luck for McConnell.
Well, it is, isn't it? Because Parrish just opened, he got off his brakes to allow the car to run off the track, trying to do the honourable thing. And then, in turn, collects McConnell, who's trying to run around the outside of it. I mean, that was just so unlucky between, well, the pair of them. That's Green around and gone.
Yeah, he knew he took it too wide, and he was doing his best to try and bring it back down, but it was just too much speed on the outside, got in the gravel, and around he goes. And so that's him, probably out of the running for the win. As we see Kabanka and Nom got the gap down to 1.5 seconds now. And then a little bit of a gap to Race and then Monty, who had to check up for that incident with as well, because he was right behind him as he spun. So
1.4 seconds is that gap, Charles, between Nom and Kabanka. That was Stevie Ray who was sitting behind and trying to get past. So how many laps? We've got, what, 3 laps remaining? Plus the one we're on, I think.
It's what I'm, and that's the thing. It's close. I'm not really sure yet.
Well, maybe this is the thing. Maybe Kabanka has gambled that if he could get out in front, he could control the pace, prevent it going one more lap, which it could be close to doing so, based on this pace, and he'll be okay in terms of the fuel, and hoping that Norm and Co have all got that extra lap of fuel on board. We're not, well, we'll find out very shortly. It's that gap's down to 1.2 seconds.
Yeah. The other problem that is you want to try and control the pace, but you've got a guy with Nom's pedigree tracking you down. He's not going to give you a lot of opportunities to just take it easy.
Definitely not. I'm talking about not taking things easy. Jeff Jakeson on Benjamin Harris. You battle for the last place inside the coveted top 10. And that is Jakeson over Harris. Well, deep into Moss there, looking for the switchback, and he may well get this. Can he make it work? No, he can't. Just couldn't quite get the car going again, and enough momentum. There's Arthur Lurio just ahead of them, who's going a bit slow. He's just had an instant. That's why as these two drag it out to the top of the hill. Nom, fastest lap of the race, 1:26 dead for him last time around.
That's a screaming lap. That was 3 or 4 tenths faster than we've seen the entire race.
Just really means that gap is under 1 second now. So he's in slipstream range. But this battle, I tell you what, not going away whatsoever. Our battles are plenty through the field. So after the pit stops, quick sit rep. Kabanka leads from Nom, race third overall, but leading Masters. Green, spot that spin, still third in Spec 1. There's Marnie and Murakami to round out your top 3 in terms of Masters. Then Prenter, Kramer, Montgomery, Harris, 8th, 9th and 10th, 2nd and 3rd in Spec 2. They're not, well, Montgomery's quite close to Kramer, so that could be interesting come the end of the race. Harris and Jacobson battling well away for 10th place, and well, now no Jacobson in that top 10, so that makes it between Nelson, Harris and David Payne. He's our top Canadian finisher. So position holder at the moment. He's 11th and well 1.7 seconds behind Nelson, who's in 10th. That gap down to 8/10 of a second. Charles, it's close.
And it's 2 laps. So this lap and 1 more. So I was just kind of watching the counter, and it looks like he crossed it about 5 seconds or so before it was is he sideways coming through too? So yeah, he's about 5 seconds. We're about 5 seconds short of being able to make this the last lap.
Wow, it's not. Well, has he got enough fuel on board? I mean, Jim Bruce, the meat in the sandwich right now, trying to keep Nom at bay for Kabanka, although he doesn't know that he's poor Jim's probably just he's sat there not knowing what to do for the best right now. Does he try and get out of the way, but then doesn't want to mess up the lap for Nom, but equally he doesn't want to try and give him the slipstream because he doesn't want to be the deciding factor in this battle. He's trying to hug the inside there to keep out that way. Nom tucked up right behind him as we look back from Kabanka now. Down the Mario Andretti straight away. Fearless to hit onto the brakes any second now as we hook her right into the S's. Nom's through and he's closing down to 4/10. As we come around, it's going to be white flag and it's going to be 1 to go. And who's going to get it? Oh, there you go. There's Schranzer. He's cut it short.
Yeah, he did. He took a gamble and it didn't quite pay off for him. So tough luck for Kabanka. You know, obviously you try and just cut it as close as you can, and he was like I said, he was very close to being able to make that the last lap. Just obviously couldn't get it done.
He's got a checkered flag style livery on his helmet, but it wasn't the checkered flag for Kabanka. Oh wow, they're doing so. He's lost the lead of not only this race, but also Spec 1. He's not even going to be on the podium in that class. And I tell you, it's elevated Simon Ball, who was really worried about his setup in this race. And I said, look at that. It's going to work out all okay. Sorry, it was Chris Simpson. I'm getting my Brits mixed up here. Apologies. Apologies, Simon. But yeah, even so, up into the podium positions in Spec 1 as our top 3 in Masters and Spec 1, alternating beautifully colour-wise there on the timing tower.
Yeah, quite lovely. So yeah, Nom's going to take the barring anything strange, he's going to take this race win, and then Antonio Race is going to be able to take the Masters class. Obviously Monty, I think with that issue that we had earlier with Kevin Parrish, had to just check up, and it just cost him all kinds of time.
Well, 1 corner left to go when he comes round it with a cruise. Aero Nom takes victory here from Mosport. Race is going to finish 2nd overall, top in Masters. Green finishes 3rd. Once it gets across the line anyway. I mean, look at the margin though. 12 seconds between themselves. Marnie and co. And then Aero Nom. I mean, even 9 seconds between themselves and Antonio Race. Really got it nailed on today with the strategy of those top 2. Victory in their respective classes as Chris Montgomery literally rolls it across the line. He's out of fuel by the sound of things.
Definitely think so.
Kramer wins in Spec 2. Montgomery gets 2nd. Payne is going to pick up 3rd on his debut in Spec 2. That's a great result.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and two Spec 2 drivers in the top 10. That's a pretty good result, because we've talked about how difficult this track is to just get right, and so it's a great job by Kramer and Montgomery.
And also, it's not just that, Charles. It's how stacked this field is. Well,
Yeah.
it always has been anyway, but then it's just become even more so. It makes it even harder now for the Spec 2 guys to get inside that top 10. And,
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, we're not really missing anything tonight, are we? So, I mean, the only one I can think of is Overstreet, but
Yeah.
Norm has effectively almost come in to replace her. So, in terms of quantity, it's still the same amount of them in there. But wow, what a race! We had the feeling it might return how we left things off last year, and well, it definitely worked out that way, didn't it?
Absolutely. 2024 is off to a good start.
It is indeed. As I think it's everyone across the line. They are indeed smoothly there with the classified results here from Mosport in the Formula Ford Weekend Warriors. Aaron Nom taking victory. Antonio Race winning in Masters second overall. Jason Green onto the podium overall. Finishes second in Spec 1. Marnie in the end only good enough for second in Class 4th overall, with Bull rounding out the podium in Spec 1 and Murakami rounding out the podium in Masters. Kabanka, that splash and dash required at the end to get himself home, prevented him from either finishing on the podium or even taking the victory here today in Canada. Kramer, you win it in Spec 2 with Montgomery second in Class 9th overall. Nelson running out your top 10. Payne on his debut, also his home track as well, claiming 11th and 3rd in Spec 2. Then it was reigning Spec 2 champion Benjamin Harris in 12th, Simpson 13th, then Cathcart, the Gassia Steno for Bruges, McConnell, Lorio up to 19th. Jim Brewster running at the top 20 and one lap down. Then it was Ray, Toms, Scott, Cantor, Stevens, Warbolt, Fernandez, Jacobson, Parrish into the sort of retirements now. He was finished, so retired the car on lap 23. Leone, we lost him on lap 19, lap 14 for Ferris, lap 2 for Guard, and Ken Paulin did not make the start. Let's have a bit of a chat to some of our drivers. First up, are returning to Weekend Warriors, albeit in the Formula Ford, claiming victory on his debut. Aero Nom, congratulations. I mean, it felt like a brave call for the undercut, but it worked out on a treat. You came out in some fresh air and you were setting a scintillating pace.
Yeah, it's my first time in the car, so I didn't know what to expect. So when I made a mistake and I was 9, I think, so I decided to pit as early as I can and drive alone and to learn the car.
So you've never driven the Formula Ford before?
No.
That's I'm sure are going to make things all the more depressing for some people who've put a lot of time and effort into this car. I mean, based on that, what's your impressions? I'm guessing you must have enjoyed it. I mean, it's plenty of overtakes to be done.
Yeah, first time my gearing wasn't right. I was shifting wrong time, so I had to ask people where to shift. But yeah, it's very, very slippery. Obviously, there's no rear wing, so the rear just wants to go out every time.
Wow, I mean, 100% win to race entry ratio. We're going to see more this season in the championship.
Maybe, yeah. I'm not sure, but probably.
Well, even so, I mean, 100% win ratio. I mean, that no one can take that one away from you. Congratulations, Aaron Nom, your winner here today.
Thank you, guys.
And Charles, who you sat waiting in the wings with?
Well, we've got our Masters class winner, Antonio Race. Antonio, congratulations. P2 overall, Masters class win. Great battle up front. Looked like there was about 9 cars that were just jockeying for, that race win. I think you did. Were you doing any fuel saving during the race?
Hello guys, hello everyone. No, I was not worry about the fuel at all. I just try to stay alive, at least at minimum hope. So I just try to play safe, and that's my biggest concern. And well, it happens that these guys that are all fair guys, so nothing strange happened, so I could finish the race.
There you go. Yeah, it was a very clean race, but obviously super competitive in the front. Did you ever? I mean, I know we saw one shot was you looking between Monty and I think it was Kabanka or Parrish, looking to see if he could squeeze through the middle for the race lead. Were you content to just wait and see if anything happened up front? Was that kind of your strategy for today?
Yeah. I was trying to not ruin anyone's race. Just try to stay clean and give some space, and then try to pass. But if I didn't see any safety way to do it, so I just retreat from the trying position.
Yeah, well, you had a great run. You up 8 positions during the race, so obviously you had some good pace in the car.
Yeah, it was really most like drafting, but we was very close without draft on the practice, and then so I knew I was there with enough pace to battle for the front guys, but yeah.
All right. Well, congratulations, Antonio.
Thank you, guys.
Great result, and I'm assuming we'll catch you in the Spec Racer race.
Yeah. I will be there.
All right. We'll see you then.
Thanks for having me. Yeah. Bye.
Next up, we've got our winner in Spec 2. Trenton Kramer joins us now. What a race for you, Trenton. Not only winning your class, 8th overall, up 14 places. I mean, that's got to have gone far better than you could have imagined.
Yeah, no, coming into this track, I've got maybe one session on the track in the SRF, and it is a completely different track between the amount of understeer that you get in the SRF versus how much oversteer you get in the Formula Ford. So going in, it was just try and be as patient as possible, work with the people around me, and see how far we could get up. And the only person that ended up qualifying in front of me for S2 was Chris, so it was just chase him down and try and stay clean, and that's pretty much how it worked.
I mean, seeing how many places ahead in terms of qualifying that Chris Montgomery was from you, were you a little bit bit hesitant of whether you could chase him down, or did you have a bit of a feeling that knowing how close the pack tends to be that you always stood a chance?
Well, with the Formula Ford, it's I tend to be a lot faster in the race than I do in qualifying, especially because I don't tend to practice drafting off of anybody. So my qualifying time being set with a minimal amount of draft versus I believe Chris had a draft for 3/4 of the lap. There isn't really much comparison when you're driving solo versus driving in the draft on a track like this. So chasing him down wasn't really the concern. It was more of avoiding the issues between me and him. I didn't really want to take out anybody else that was in the Masters race because there was 5 or 6 cars in front of me battling for position. But at the same time, I couldn't sit around and wait and hold myself up. I had to move. So just nice, consistent, and smooth racing and trying to take care of the tires. And unfortunately, Chris ran out of fuel on the second to last lap. So had a great battle with him. It's unfortunate that he missed out by probably about 1/10 of a gallon or 2/10 of a gallon.
A shame indeed, but even so, second highest position gamer in the whole race, 8th overall winner in Spec 2. Congratulations, Trenton Kramer, and good luck for the rest of the season, my friend. Hopefully we see more of you winning this season.
That's the goal, is to be out here a couple more times. It's great talking to you guys up here.
Likewise, congratulations, Trenton Kramer, your winner in Spec 2. That's all we've got time for now, though, here from the Formula Fords from Mosport, coming up in just over an hour's time here on the channel. It's part of the doubleheader for Super Sunday on Apex Racing TV. It's the SRFs in the Weekend Warriors. We will see you then for those. But from myself, Tim Cox, Charles Michelle, Smooly Kumo, thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you in a week's time for the Formula Fords when we head to Australia and Oran Park.